Hello, I'm Mark Cutcher. Welcome to LifeTalk Now.
And I'm Renee Hobbs. Thanks for joining us, and happy Easter, everybody.
Yep, it is a neat time of the year. You know, one thing I like about Easter, well, obviously the season.
Sure.
Yeah, two things. First off, Barabbas always comes on. My favorite old movie is to watch Barabbas, and it usually comes on late at night, so I stay up late and watch Barabbas.
Yeah.
Don't ask me why, but that's what I do.
Okay.
Been doing it ever since I was a kid. But anyway, the other thing I always think about with Easter, I think about my daughter. I don't know if I ever told you this story. It's pretty, you know, if you just watch your kids and listen to them, they're really a source of entertainment. But our daughter,
You can say that again.
yeah, especially yours, they're really a source of entertainment.
Hey now.
All right. Anyway, she figured out, she told us one time when she was just a little girl, she was only about 3 or 4, that she'd figured out that there was no Easter bunny. And we were still at the stage where we wanted there to be an Easter bunny because it was a lot of fun hiding eggs and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so I said, Sheila, how do you know there's no Easter bunny? And she said, because rabbits don't lay eggs. So anyway, there wasn't any rejoinder for that. We couldn't come back and say, oh yeah, some rabbits lay eggs.
Right.
So we were out of the Easter bunny deal at that point.
Right.
But
She figured it out.
But the funny thing is, believe this or not, she didn't want to quit having us hide eggs like the Easter bunny had come there, and she still doesn't.
That's the fun part.
She's
the candy.
She's 27 years old here in a few days.
Yeah.
And she still likes for us to go out and hide eggs for her to find them. It's the most bizarre thing I've ever seen.
Mark, I don't know if I would have said that on live. I'm just kidding.
Well, anyway, she still would hunt for Easter eggs if we put them out there.
Sure.
I guarantee you. All right, let's talk about something a little less fun here.
Yeah, really.
Dallas Morning News this morning, Friday, April 14th, 2017. Texans having fewer abortions. Now they say this like this is a big tragedy.
Yeah.
You know, now this woman, Seema Yasmin, who's the reporter wrote this story, staff writer for the Dallas Morning News, and of course the Dallas Morning News is one of the most rabidly pro-abortion newspapers in the country. These people have no values whatsoever.
Right.
And you know, one of the things that I've said on here before is that one of the great things about the election that just happened with Trump being elected is that the bloom is off the rose for the media. The American people can now see exactly what the media is. I wrote a book called Firestorm in the 1980s, and in that book, one of the things I said was that journalism is dead. There is no more journalism in America. There's godless left-wing politics that uses world events to advance their agenda, and that's what the media is.
Right.
And I even had people on our side of issues say, hey, I think you're a little over the top on that. You're crazy. This last election proved that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Nobody in the country is deceived by the media anymore.
No, not at all. And Trump is constantly out there pointing that out to everybody, and it's true. You can't deny it. And the Dallas Morning News, they endorsed Hillary Clinton too.
Right.
So
Anyway, interesting thing here is, among many others, is they're trying to paint this picture, continuing to try to paint this picture that we've talked about on this show and on our regular LifeTalk monthly show many times, that because of HB2 and because Perry and now Abbott have taken away all the money from Planned Parenthood, that Texas women are at risk of just spontaneously dying in the streets. To hear them tell the story, like you and I and somebody in our office here today went out to lunch. And when we walked around the square in Denton, we had to step over the bodies of dead women. You know?
there were at least 3 or 4.
Yeah, we stepped over the dead bodies of 3 or 4 women that were sitting there rotting in the sidewalk.
Right.
You know, they're everywhere. But somehow or another, we never read about them. But they're writing these articles like women are dropping dead all over Texas.
They're claiming, and there's a study that they did in there.
This is one they did a long time ago.
Right.
And they're repeating this study. Now, every time, when the media calls here, if I tell them something, if I give them a statistic or something, anything, or I just make a statement, they want to see the study that proved that. And if I don't produce it, and if it doesn't match up with what they think it should be, they're not going to report it. This study, they're saying this study was that has found that 100,000 women. Researchers estimate that over 100,000 Texas women have tried to end their pregnancies without medical help by doing self-abortions.
Right.
Now, And that self-abortions, of course, are extremely dangerous, right?
Oh, very.
Now, again, first off, if I had made a similar statement to this, they would make me back it up. There's no backup for this.
No, there's not.
And when you look at the research that was done, and you and I have talked about this on prior shows, if you look at the research that was done, one of the things they did is they went out and asked, I think it was 600 women statewide. So out of a state with 28 million people in it, they're using a study they took of 600 women as representative of the whole state. Of those women that they interviewed, 600 or 800, whatever it was, I think it was 600. But anyway, of those women, they asked them, since HB2 has come in, have you tried to self-abort? And a very, very small percentage said that they had. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but they said that they had. Then they asked those same 600 or 800 people, do you think that any of your friends have tried to abort?
Right.
4 times as many said,
Right.
yes, I think maybe they have. Now, they have nothing to back that up.
No, not at all. And it's not like they sit around and discuss this sort of thing either.
Right.
And so how would they know?
How
would they even know?
But they counted, in this study, they counted all of those women. If a woman told them that, no, I haven't tried to self-abort, but I think 4 or 5 of my friends did, then they counted that as 5
Right.
women.
That's legitimate information that they've been given.
Right, and that's how they come up with these numbers.
Right.
It is a pure scam. If any private industry tried to do this, they'd wind up in prison. They would wind up in prison.
I mean, I'm not even sure why this article came out, because HB2 was back in 2013, and speaking of HB2, I mean, the abortion clinics closed even before it became law, that we've talked about many times,
right.
Which is so ridiculous.
But there's no doubt that it accelerated
Right.
the number that were closed.
Yeah.
They went from 40 to 17
Yeah.
just within the first year after
Right.
HB2. 40 abortion clinics down to 17 in the whole state of Texas. But, and that's too many.
Yeah, and then some of them have reopened because...
A couple of them, yeah, because they backed off. The judges have stopped this legislation from going into effect.
Yeah.
But again, I would ask the question, if it's true that 100,000 women in Texas, if that were true, it's not, it's a bald-faced lie, and this Seema Yasmin, who wrote this article, knows it's a bald-faced lie. But this advances the narrative that they want to advance. But if 100,000, let's just say for a moment she wasn't lying through her teeth, and 100,000 women had self-aborted in Texas. Now, they're always claiming that if you outlaw abortions and women start aborting themselves, then the number of women dying is going to skyrocket. The implication being that self-abortions are dangerous. So if 100,000 women have now tried to self-abort in Texas just in the last 2 years,
Right.
where are all the dead bodies?
Right.
I want to know where they are.
Yeah, there's not any.
And
They're lying.
again, it's like, you know, we were being facetious earlier, but we did go to lunch today. We walked around the square in downtown Denton.
Right.
We didn't step over any dead bodies.
No, there wasn't any out there.
I didn't see a single ambulance go by, you know, headed to some woman's house. And in this article, when they mentioned this, over 100,000 women have tried to self-abort since HB2 went into effect. I will promise you that one of the things that happened behind the scenes when this pro-abort was writing this article, this Seema Yasmin, they called the Texas Abortion Rights Action League or NARAL or somebody, Planned Parenthood, and said, can you give me the name of one woman who I can include in this? They would love to have the ability to say, well,
testimony, yeah.
Yeah, Sarah Jones over here had an abortion, did an abortion on herself 2 weeks after HB2 went into effect, and she died from her abortion. They would make a cause celeb out of her. Her name would be
Definitely.
on the front page of every newspaper in the country. Why isn't it here? Because she doesn't exist.
She doesn't exist. And Jenny also has made a good point on the comments. She said that pro-aborts are the problem. They are the ones okay with taking innocent lives, which is what we've discussed too many times.
Right.
It is them. It's
Right.
not us.
It's not us.
Yeah.
This is an obscenity. But the good thing here is, I think that because of this recent election, that so many people's eyes have been opened up to what the American media really is, what they really are. It has nothing to do with keeping the American people informed, or, you know, they always talk about we speak truth to power and all this kind of nonsense that they talk about. They are what I said in Firestorm when I wrote it in 1986. They are godless, moral degenerates who have an agenda, and they use their position reporting on world events. They manipulate those world events and the way they report them to advance that agenda.
That's right, to advance their cause.
And I said that in '86, and people thought I was nuts.
And that's what they're trying to do here because of all the laws that are trying to go into effect right now here in Austin.
Well, and not only that, but they know other states are using Texas as a model for what they can do and what they can't do.
Right.
And that's what this is all about. But I'm going to challenge Miss Yasmin from the Dallas Morning News. Give me the names. Where are they? How many women? Point to the women who have died as a result of HB2. Tell us who they are and how they died. And you can't do it. You're lying through your teeth. Anyway, we're out of time.
Yes,
And
we are.
I want to remind people that Life Dynamics is not here to put up a good fight. We're here to win, because winning is how the killing stops. And Renee and I want to wish you a very happy Easter.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.